Hey everyone, JVD here from the Villains Man, bringing you another comic book review over Batman, War of Jokes and Riddles, from the Rebirth Banner, Volume 3 of the Batman series, issues 25 through 32. Now, if you have read I Am Suicide in the beginning of this Rebirth series, which I think is about issue 9 when that starts, and Batman is taking the ventriloquist with him to go receive Psycho Pirate from Bane. I should say steal Psycho Pirate. He mentions the War of Jokes and Riddles, and now here we go. A good almost 20 issues later, we're finding out what this is, and this story takes place through Batman's narration to Catwoman. This is, I'm going to assume, a couple days after he's already proposed to her, and she hasn't given him an answer, and he wants her to understand why he done what he done before she gives an answer, and which I guess that's understandable. And you kind of find out this takes place a year after Zero Year, and with Batman and having Joker and Riddler be his two main foes during Zero Year, which the Joker was not exactly Joker. He was Red Hood, and the Riddler started out not being the Riddler until after the Red Hood gang was disbanded. But I really like this story. It's really long for being 8 issues, but it really takes its time to tell itself. And Tom King has really done a awesome job so far on this Batman run. Is he to what Snyder was for the 52? I'm not really sure, but so far, man, it's really hard to call who's wrote the better volume at this time. There are things that I referring to the Joker and the Riddler there in this book that I don't care about when it comes to their characters. It's a little on the Joker's part, and to me it seems like a lot on the Riddler's part, and I know a lot of people will agree with me, especially ones that I've talked to that are Batman fans. But really good story, and I would say if you're going to read any of the Batman stuff, if you go ahead and read issue 23, which is the proposal issue, and then this, I think you could probably do away with any of the other stuff from this Rebirth volume, because none of it kind of ties to this. It all ties to the Bane stuff, and here from 23 to this all kind of ties together. It's a really good story, but I guess I'll go ahead and get into some spoilers. Back with in Zero Year and the 52, which is Dark City, Savage City, and Secret City, which I've done reviews for if you'd like to check those out. All kind of lead to this, and all of it shows is just Batman's oversights, that he's young, he's still new to being the Caped Crusader, the Dark Knight, this crime fighter, and his oversights have kind of led to this war between the Joker and the Riddler, and all this war is just to get the Joker to laugh, because he can't laugh, and that's how the whole book starts out. He's at a comedy club trying to get people to make him laugh, and he's just shooting them, and the bodies are piling up, and that's kind of what this whole thing gets to. But just to sum up this war that's gone on, that takes place for quite a long time, and a lot of people in Gotham die, because basically Gotham gets separated by the East and the West, with the Riddler's crew and the Joker's crew, and Batman's Rogues Gallery starts taking sides. And at first I thought, well, why would some of these people team up with the Joker, kind of like Deadshot? And a lot of the people are more afraid that he's going to kill them if they don't side with him, more than it's for money. And it seems like more of your intelligent villains, much like Poison Ivy, Deathstroke, Two-Face, they seem to, Two-Face, they all seem to side with the Riddler. The one person that doesn't get to pick a side is Cobblepot, who is the Penguin, who is basically Carmine's little bitch, and winds up being taken over by the Joker as he comes in to kill Carmine, because he tries to pay Carmine to kill the Riddler, which doesn't work. And this is kind of the part which I don't like about the Riddler, and I guess I'll just get into this right now, is the Riddler, who he gets shot and he survives. And he later on takes, I don't remember if it's a knife or a broken piece of glass, but basically he takes where he got shot is the bottom of a question mark, and he carves the rest of the question mark to his chest. very unlike the Riddler. The Riddler is very sadistic and psychotic, but a very calm demeanor until you realize at the end of the book he doesn't get what he wants. And just the way that he's drawn well built. He's very muscular, and that's not what I expect from the Riddler. You just expect somebody that's smaller, scrawny, because he just matches wits with Batman. He shouldn't be fighting him, and he even does in this book. He fist fights him, and then it's just kind of the way he's drawn. He's drawn with a very strong Irish jaw, almost like he's a bare knuckle boxer. And he's got the long red chops. And it really kind of shows, if anything, he kind of looks like a leprechaun at times. And, which he doesn't wear the hat, there's no glasses, no tie. He's got his overcoat with a white button-up shirt that's open so you can see the question mark. Very different take on the character, and it really showed here, and I wasn't big on how this was presented. As for the Joker, who doesn't laugh, they really show his ruthlessness in this book. Especially the fact that he goes and kills a family and the kids, and as they're explaining them, there's a gunshot for each person in the household. And it really kind of shows you the ruthlessness. And even at the end where Riddler is fist fighting Batman, the Joker, for once, is portrayed in a way that I prefer the Joker. He's not a brawler. He shouldn't be standing hand to hand with Batman. He's using everything he can to get his hands on the fight. Like he's hitting, Batman with like a bar stool and a chair and broken pieces of it. He's not physically fighting Batman like you've seen in the past, which I really like. The only thing I did not like is there's a part in the book where he throws a knife perfectly at the Riddler, and this even plays into the Riddler, and the Riddler catches it. And I hate that. It's not what a character should be able to do. And so, but this is all 0 year, and eventually after 0 year, so eventually maybe things will change, and obviously they've evolved with these characters, especially, if you've looked into, Death of the Family from New 52, Joker's changed quite a bit. But then again, we know that there's 3 Jokers running around, so we don't know which one's which. But, basically, during all this, like I said, villains have sided in wars. We meet Chuck Brown, which the Joker kind of makes fun of, like as in Charlie Brown, the comic between him and the Riddler. And it's the start of the Kite Man. And he loses his son in the war. And basically he sides up with the Joker. He's going to be Kite Man. Hell yeah. And that is a big thing throughout this book. The words hell yeah. And it's all because of his son. His son's saying hell yeah. And he winds up dying. He gets poisoned by the Riddler. But that's just how bad this war between the Joker and the Riddler has got it. There's no remorse towards anybody. It doesn't matter if you're your mom, dad, your kids, or grandma, or grandpa, old lady crossing the street. You're more likely going to die. And this really shows as in the war, where we get to the people that I wish would have been played out a lot more longer, but it's almost a whole issue of it, is Batman is trying to stop Deadshot and Deathstroke, and they're in a battle with each other. Apparently, this fight takes place in 5 days, and it all starts off with them both firing sniper rifles at each other because they're trying to get a shot on somebody, and the bullets collide, and that's just all it takes. And they're fighting each other. I think Deathshot even blows up a building just trying to take Deathstroke, and he kills a bunch of people in it, and it gets pretty crazy. And eventually, I'm going to assume they wear each other out, which I don't get because Deathstroke is vastly physically superior. And I've always taken it as a better fighter than Deadshot. But Batman winds up getting in the middle of them and stops both of them, which I don't understand how he even done that. There's no way in the world he should even be able to fight Deathstroke at his peak and beat him like that. But it obviously did. Maybe he caught him off guard. But eventually, Bruce Wayne has talked with Gordon during this war, because Gordon has met with both sides. And he, as Bruce Wayne, is going to have dinner at Wayne Manor with the Riddler and the Joker. And basically, he's wanting them to persuade him to who he's going to pay $1 billion to. That way, that side of the war can buy out the other criminals and just leave Joker or Riddler by themselves. And then let God sort the rest of them. And it's really interesting because he's really trying to play on both of them. And, man, they even bring their top guns in there. The other villains like Poison Ivy, Clayface, Killer Croc, to just in case things get out of control. And they even take hostages just in case things go bad. And at the end, they mentioned the Riddler was going to let him go, but what Joker's like, I think I killed mine, which is very Joker like. I don't remember, which he does. And they do a lot of flashbacks like that when Joker Riddler mentions some stuff. Well, anyways, then this whole thing turns into this war where Batman's got to make his play, and he joins the Riddler. And Bruce Wayne, I'm assuming, gave the Riddler his money. And one by one, Riddler and Batman start taking out Joker's army. And Kite Man is with them every time. And then you slowly, if you manage to get you on, realize that this is a setup by Batman. And it's almost so Kite Man can have some revenge. And he plays it because he's a fool. He's always been a fool, and it plays up really well here. Well, anyways, so they take out everybody, and it's just the Joker that's left. And Joker realizes that this is all because of Kite Man. Kite Man switches sides with Batman and the Riddler, and he builds kites to fly Riddler's army up to the tower that Joker's in. And so they can take down the Joker. Now, there's some funny parts here. One part is Kite Man, Chuck Brown, is talking to Killer Croc. He's like, how much do you weigh? And he's like, enough. Probably too much. And they're having this back and forth about if a kite can carry Killer Croc because he's massive. And then, while this is going on, where the Joker's at, the Joker has his hostage. And he's telling knock-knock jokes. And there's a lot of knock-knock jokes during this book. But he starts out, will you remember me tomorrow? And the guy's like, yes. And he's like, will you remember me, in a week? Yes. Will you remember me in a month, a year? The guy's like, yes. And he's like, knock, knock. Who's there? And the Joker's like, I thought you said you would remember me. And he kills the guy. So I thought that was pretty good. But anyways, they swing in. They have this fight. The Riddler have this fight. And then Kite Man, pulls another double turn. And all the kites zip out and pull all of Riddler's army but him and Batman back through the window, and they get caught up in the Bat Blimp where they'll eventually pass out from lack of oxygen. So brilliant move by Batman and the Riddler. And the Riddler thought he had it figured out, and he was wrong. So anyways, that's where it comes down to a fight between Riddler and Batman. And finally, Joker laughs as Batman finally loses his shit and decides he's going to kill the Riddler. And he goes to stab him in the face, and it's drawn really, really well, where it looks like it's in the Riddler's face and Batman's thrusted, and then it turns and the Joker had stopped Batman from killing him, and the blade went through his hand. And that's what made the Joker laugh. Who thought he would have saved Batman? And he laughs hysterically, which just makes the Riddler even more pissed off about this whole thing, that he can't make the Joker laugh through all these riddles and whatnot, and they went through all this war. And that's how the book basically ends, as Bruce is telling Selina the story. And there's some really cool stuff here at the end that happens with this. As they're telling this, that, let's see. Anyways, that part doesn't matter. It's at the end of the book. But anyways, as Bruce is telling Selina the story, so she can understand why he did the things he did, because he's let all these people die. She tells him what's the difference between a joke and a riddle, which is what he gets hit with the Joker at the end of their fight with him and the Riddler. And Bruce says cat, and she says the answer could be clever or funny, or political or deep or anything. It could be, but it's not. The answer is, who cares? You are who he made. Fine. And I'm whatever the horrors of my life made me. Fine. All our sins, our earned tragedies, all of it, all that damn pain. It's here with us. It is us. I'm sure it's all meaningful and or hilarious or philosophical or deep or something or everything. We could spend our whole lives mixed in the complexities, but barely compared to us, compared to you and me, what we have or could have, all the pain we have. Honestly, who cares? And that's what she's got to tell him. Who cares? What you could have been, because he was thinking this entire time that he was no different than them, because he was actually going to murder. And it's she's trying to kind of tell him, that you did what you had to do to save things. And, there's going to be collateral damage during things like this. That's what she's trying to get him to understand. That, you can't always be the person you think you're going to be. And this kind of turns back into the issue where he proposes about how, how he is Batman. He's not Bruce Wayne, he's Batman. And how he's scared. And this is kind of what, to me, this is what this plays into. But it's a really good way to end the book. And it, honestly, at the at the end, she very honestly tells him yes, that she'll marry him. So it's a really good story. There's some really cool stuff in this book. Let's see. In issue 30, there's a really cool scene, and it's with Two-Face and Kite Man. It's where Batman and Riddler are kind of slowly catching people, and while they're talking panel to panel, the front panel is looking at them in the dark on the bridge, and then the next panel is the reflection of the water where the bridge is upside down in the water, and they're still talking. I thought that was a really cool way to go from panel to panel in that scene. Also, the issue 32, the very last issue, opens up with a picture of everybody that's died in this war with their names and how they died. And just to show you how chaotic and how murderous this war over just trying to make the Joker laugh was, and just how ridiculous it all is. So that's some really cool, neat little things about this. Another neat thing about the book is the dinner that Bruce Wayne throws, and it's I think it's a traditional French dinner where there's 9 courses, and each section of what they talk about starts at the top of the panel with whatever the first course is, and it's pretty neat. So I thought there was a little thought put into that. Exactly, and then how Alfred was very, very calm through this entire thing, and nothing was ever offered to any of the other parts of the army. It was just offered to Joker, Riddler, and Batman. Bruce Wayne. So that was a really cool scene. Like I said, the scene with Deathshot and Deathstroke, at some point in the Deathstroke series, there needs to be an annual where he talks about that. And the whole annual needs to be that book, day by day, as a fight. I think that would be really cool. So, if any of you are for DC, listen to this, and yes, take that as an idea. I think that would be really great. But as for this, I really like how in Rebirth and here the 52 here in the Rebirth series, excuse me, that they keep doing these flashbacks to when Batman got started. And if Tom King leaves this book, which right now I can't see it, I mean, they're on issue 51 as I'm doing this, trying to catch up. He has done a phenomenal job, and whoever takes his spot, I hope they continue to tell these small stories that you're getting in the beginning of Batman being a crime fighter. I think they're really good, and they do the character a lot of justice, because one thing I've always complained about is how does Batman have time to learn all these martial arts, master detective, learn all these sciences, learn all these languages, be Bruce Wayne, and then sleep, because he's got to sleep. I've seen it in panels where he takes like a 5-10 minute power nap, but eventually he's got to sleep. It's got to catch up to him. But I'm JVD. This has been my review for Batman, War of Jokes and Riddles. If you'd like to see the books that kind of tie into this, go check out my new 52 Batman reviews for Savage City, Secret City, Dark City, that all lead up to this. But keep reading, guys.